From PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Pirates entertain the Atlanta Braves as the Buccos' 5-game homestand continues. Andrew McCutcheon canvas photo wraps given away to all fans. A lot of youngsters on hand. It should be a good night for baseball. We expect the rain to stay away as the Pirates welcome in the red-hot Atlanta Braves. Greg Brown along with Steve Blass. You know, Steve, since the Pirates had that 7-game losing streak, they've actually gone 11-11, and they've done it because they've gotten better starting pitching.
It's all about the starting pitching, and when you get good at starting pitching, that good bullpen can be effective. It all fits.
Yeah, and it's been fitting nicely for Ross Ollendorf. Now back off the disabled list. Ollendorf pitched a good game against the Chicago Cubs on Sunday. 6 innings, 4 hits. He allowed just 2 runs.
Yeah, very efficient, and when he is healthy, he is very good. So we expect him to get out there and feel good about his opportunity against the Braves tonight.
Ross Ollendorf this season, of course, they're talking about just a few starts, and Sunday again against the Chicago Cubs, 6+ 4 hits, 1 career start against the Atlanta Braves last year, pitched pretty good. Now the Atlanta Braves, Steve, they're hot, and they're doing it in comeback dramatic fashion. 3 consecutive come-from-behind walk-off wins in Atlanta. Jason Hayward, the rookie sensation, had this walk-off double on Wednesday, and an amazing game yesterday as the Atlanta Braves came back from a 9-2 deficit. Brooks Conrad, an opposite field grand slam off the glove of Lance Nix. They scored 7 runs. They have 6 walk-off wins already this year, the most in baseball.
Take a look at all the stats involved with what they're doing late in ball games, and might be a challenge for our good bullpen tonight if they want to continue what they've been doing. Take a look at Troy Gloss, what he's been doing this month. 386, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs. Wow.
All right, so the Pirates, by the way, they're 9-5 against the Atlanta Braves since 2008. John Russell has yet another man at the top of the leadoff spot. He's looking for some offense to get it going. He's got tonight, for the first time in his career, Andy LaRoche.
Yeah, and he's not looking for a lot of speed at the top of the batting order when he puts Andy in there, but they're looking for somebody who they can depend on. I don't think this will be an ongoing program, but John is just giving everybody a chance. He'll find somebody eventually that he likes at the top of the batting order.
And John Russell says he has been getting on base. You can see 338 on base percentage. Not great, but better than those other options, so he's going to give Andy LaRoche a try. Well, I'll tell you a guy who's been great as a rookie, and last year's rookie, Garrett Jones, Jason Hayward, 2 big left-handed sluggers. They're going at it tonight in Game 1 of the 3-game series at PNC Park. Buccos and Braves are next.
Definitely worth the click. And by your Toyota dealer, where quality, dependability, and good MPG all come standard. Toyota, moving forward.
Checking out the all-star possibilities, Nate McLeod and old teammate Andy LaRoche. Talking moments ago, there's Eric Hinsky, 2 former Pirates, now wearing Braves uniforms. Yucking it up before the game with Andy LaRoche, who will be the leadoff hitter. And I'd be willing to bet You saw McLeod chuckling there. That's exactly what they were talking about.
Absolutely.
McLeod was laughing that Andy LaRoche
finally found your speed.
Yep, exactly.
Finally found out that you are a burner.
Yep. Here's Bobby Cox's lineup against the Buccos, brought to you by Toyota moving forward. Martin Prado leads off, and it's Jason Hayward, who ranks first among rookies in a bunch of categories, including homers and RBIs and runs scored. Chipper Jones follows, then Brian McCann, Troy Gloss, and Eric Hinsky, Yunel Escobar, Nate McLeod, and Tim Hudson.
And they will be trying their best against the Pirate right-hander Ross Ollendorf, making his fourth start. And I told you during the Open what he did against the Cubs last time out. Very, very good work. 6 innings, just 2 runs and 4 hits.
Check out the weather. Threatening skies, but looks like it's going to hold off. 73 degrees, humidity at 51%. Just a light breeze. Forecast, Ross is boss. And this really, for all intents and purposes, his 3rd start. Coming off the disabled list, he made a start April the 7th, the first night game of the year here at PNC Park. Went 5 innings against the Dodgers and then placed on the DL.
Yeah, and it should be real easy for him until the 8th inning, because the Braves don't do much until, the last inning.
Right.
So he should be a breeze through 8.
Martin Prado takes strike 1. Well, you have to wonder what goes through the minds of these Braves. They are on cloud 9. Flew in to Pittsburgh last night after that.
With no airplane.
Yeah, dramatic come from behind win. 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and promptly a line drive into left center field that will go to the wall. Martin Prado has himself a leadoff double on the 2nd pitch of the ball game. No hangover, at least from what Prado has done.
Got a pretty decent looking pitch, went downstairs, got it, bullet to left center field, just skipping by Andrew McCutchen. Andrew was trying to create an angle over the ball, but just had a lot of skip to it. The ball was hit on a line. It wasn't that fly ball that would bounce and come straight up. Just kept on going after it skipped.
Prado's 56th hit of the year. He leads the National League. He's in the top 10 in hitting. He is on second for this rookie sensation. 6'5", 240-pound, 20-year-old Jason Hayward. As advertised, spring training.
Yep, we heard about him during the winter. Saw him, heard about him in spring training. He is what they believed he would be this early.
Bobby Cox talked to him the first day he was drafted back in 2007. He was the 14th pick overall that year, and Bobby Cox said he's not had a prospect like him. He said never. He has hit some balls as long as I've ever seen, and he hits them so hard.
And think of how many ball players Bobby Cox has seen.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And to have him in the number 2 spot, that's getting him up there a bunch of times.
Right into the fire, and he has rewarded Bobby Cox. 276 average, 8 homers, 30 RBIs. You see the batting average with men in scoring position for Hayward, 4th in the league behind those outstanding hitters, Ethier, Terrio, and Braun. It's popped up behind home plate, dome it, and it's going to be out of play a couple rows back. That's 2-2. Our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat: game-winning RBIs. The major league leaders, Garrett Jones, and this is not an official stat anymore. It was for a short time a few years ago, but game-winning RBIs, Garrett Jones has 7. Jason Hayward, Ryan Howard, Albert Pujols, and Joey Votto each with 6. Definitely worth the click. Two and two on Hayward with Chipper Jones on deck. Ross Ollendorf. Couldn't get Hayward to swing, and the count goes to 3-2. Umpiring crew At home plate, Bob Davidson, the veteran umpire. Alfonso Marquez at first, Tim Timmons at second, and the crew chief at third base, Tim Cheetah.
Well, Ross has an open base against a dangerous hitter, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go right at him. You don't want to really fool around and just load up the bases early and clog up the base paths.
22 walks on the year, tied for second on the club behind Brian McCann.
He has struck out 30 times.
And he hangs in there, fouling that ball off. It stays 3-2. He grew up just a short drive from Atlanta. Jason Hayward.
Wasn't there a story about him in a prep school where you didn't get much of a look? Everybody was pitching around him, and
yeah,
I heard that story today, or somebody told me about that.
Yep. 3-2 count. And he walks Hayward, putting runners at first and second. Well, that makes all the sense in the world. This kid's coming up through high school, and as he approached the draft, I mean, he was just, everybody knew about him, all the scouts, and such an awesome specimen that it stands to figure that they worked around him. Jason Hayward.
When I look at him, I think Fred McGriff for some reason.
It's funny you say that, because that's exactly what Chipper Jones said in referring to Jason Hayward. As Jones stands in there and fouls this ball off, Chipper Jones hitting .225 with a couple of homers and 11 RBIs.
Yeah, Chipper called me and said, who do you think he looks like?
0-1 the count on Chipper Jones with Brian McCann to follow. Chipper Jones finished second in the National League Rookie of the Year award voting in 1995 at the age of 23. And Jones also talked about Hayward being blessed by the fact that Bobby Cox is his manager. And he said, I was the perfect example of Bobby Cox giving a young guy the perfect opportunity to succeed. He knew I was a good fastball hitter. We had a hole in the 3 spot of the batting order. But he knew I'd be hitting in front of Fred McGriff and David Justice, and a ball hit up the middle. Martin Prado will score, and it is a 1-0 Braves lead, 3 batters into the ball game. Chipper Jones with his 12th RBI of the season.
Yep, Chipper Jones, the veteran, just kind of hitting it right back to the middle. Nothing dramatic about it, but gets on through, and the Braves very quickly on the board.
First and second, and no one out. As Chipper Jones brings home the first run of the ball game. Prado started this thing off with a double on the second pitch. Brian McCann, the Braves catcher. Takes a strike. McCann, .254 hitter. 4 home runs, 14 RBIs.
Well, you got the catcher up there. You always think about the possibilities of a double play. They're usually good candidates, and boy, Ross Ollendorf sure could use that right now.
Brian McCann can do a lot of things. One thing he cannot do is run. One of the slowest players in the league, but boy, he is a good catcher offensively and defensively. Hit 21 homers last year, drove in 94.
Yep, got his vision issues squared away.
4 consecutive All-Star games to start his career, and pops it up, and the infield fly will be called on this one. So the batter is out. It doesn't matter what Bobby Crosby does. Runners advance at their own risk in that situation, and 1 down.
Well, that slows things down a little bit.
Pirates defensively, Andrew McCutcheon in center, flanked by Ryan Church in left, Garrett Jones in right. Shortstop Ronnie Cedeno, double play partner Bobby Crosby, the corners LaRoche and Clement, Ryan Domet behind the plate.
Still room for that double play ball.
And still have to be very careful. Another dangerous hitter in Troy Gloss. Breaking ball, they ask, and yes. as Alfonso Marquez.
Well, that's one of the times you get the call. You don't always get that one. Were those the gaudy numbers we showed for Troy Gloss the month? Hitting 386, 18 RBIs.
Ground ball foul outside of third. 0-2. I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, but I was thinking about this the other day watching a game, Steve. I think, in fact, I was watching a Pirate rerun game on FSN. They rerun all these games, you know, at like 11 o'clock at night. Anyway.
Usually a little late for me, but go ahead.
But those check swings, you know, we show the slow motion. Those angles are different than what the umpires see along the lines. So we're seeing a different angle from the camera. The cameras are at the end of the dugout, and the umpire's vision. Now, that's the camera angle that you see, but that's from the dugout, not from where the umpires are stationed. So
yeah, the umpires
that can be
would be way
deceiving.
over to the right.
So don't listen to the announcers when they say, "Oh yeah, he swung." Think about that when you're watching those check swings. That is not the angle the ump. There's the angle. That's a great angle there. That's what they're seeing. Check swing. No, this time home plate umpire doesn't have to appeal. Bob Davidson, and Troy Gloss doesn't agree with it. There's what Alfonso Marquez sees.
That's too far away. I like the other angle.
Bob Davidson was right behind home plate, and he says he swung.
There, now.
Doesn't look like he swung there.
No, that other angle is better. Main thing is there's 2 outs now.
Get Hinske now and limit the damage. Hinske hitting .355, 2 home runs, 18 RBIs. He was signed as a free agent this winter. Shortstop Cedeno going over to second. And Ohlendorf steps off.
As he should. When you don't have a shortstop anymore, he's standing on second base. Don't throw the pitch.
First and second, 2 outs, a run in. Hinske, who
kind of a sweep swing there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of risks involved. He was late.
Wasn't the kindest when he left last year. Was traded to the Yankees. Had some, not terribly negative, but some
unkind
parting shots. Yeah,
unkind words.
Hinske played with the Pirates and the Yankees last year and pops this ball up. Roche in foul territory, makes the catch.
Good work by Ross to get it together.
1 run, a couple of hits, they leave 2. Church career against Hudson, a .318 batter. Ryan Domit, switch hitting catcher, hit sixth. Then it's Clement, Cedeno, and Ollendorf.
Against one of the very, very good right-handers in Major League Baseball. 8 starts, 7 with 2 runs or less so far this year. 8 starts, 7 of those 2 runs or less. He's 4-1. By the way, his 4 wins, they've gotten a total of 40 runs in support of him. So you should win 4 when you're averaging getting 10 runs.
Yeah, I would say, huh?
Yeah. Last time out, 13-1 over Arizona. Before that, 11-3 over Milwaukee. 10-1 against Houston. 6-2 against San Diego. They like hitting for Tim.
Well, in his career, he's 130-26 when his team scores 4 or more runs. And a shot. What a pick by the veteran, Chipper Jones.
El Matador. Ole. Bravissimo concerto. This is one of the best you're going to see. That's slick.
You either get it or you don't.
That's Matador stuff.
Wow.
No bull. Just the Matador.
Ho hum from Chipper Jones. The RBI single in the top of the inning. Strike now to Bobby Crosby.
34-year-old Tim Hudson, 6'1", 174 pounds. He's won 152 Major League games, lost just 79. That is sweet. That deserves another look. All he was missing was the cape.
Yeah. Sensational.
Tim Hudson 4-3 against the Bucks in 8 starts. He's been very good. But I think I was reading 10 or 11 Major League seasons with double-figure wins, more than 10 wins.
Facing a former teammate with the Oakland A's and Bobby Crosby. Easier play for Chipper Jones. A lot of ground balls when Hudson is on, and most of the time he's on. And so his defense, especially those infielders, will get a lot of work. Eric Hensky, Nate McCall, Jason Hayward, left to right. Chipper Jones, Troy Gloss on the corners. Double play combo is Escobar and Prado, with McCann doing the catching. 47 double plays turned this season, tied for second most in the major leagues. There's the second baseman, Prado.
Well, they talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers being the University of Pitching. Well, the University of Pitching has a satellite college in Atlanta, Georgia. They have had some unbelievable pitching come through during their years. Smoltzes and Phil Necros.
One ball, one strike. And of course, what a run.
Glavine
and Maddox.
Maddox, yeah. Some serious pitchers come through Atlanta.
Tapper. 3 ground ball outs. 10-pitch inning for Hudson. After 1, Braves lead 1-0 at PNC Park. Brooks Conrad thought it was caught, so he turns around, and then he sees his teammates running onto the field and realizes it's a home run. He thought it was the last out of the game. Instead, the grand slam.
Then it gets real smooth.
I should say second out. That would have been, he thought it was a sacrifice fly. Yeah, then he gets mobbed. Braves had some magic going this past homestand.
How do you think Lance Nix feels?
Oh, just nicked off his glove. Line to right. One out. There he is, Brooks Conrad, the 30-year-old who on yesterday's game-winning grand slam, the good word. I was rounding first, and from my angle, it looked like he brought it back. I put my hands on my helmet like, no way, he brought that back. At least we got the sac fly. Then the fans went crazy. Base runners kept running around the bases, so I started sprinting to get to home plate as fast as I could. What a moment.
Mixed emotions, a little change emotionally within 2 or 3 seconds.
30-year-old rookie, Brooks Conrad. You know, before this year, he had played 36 games in the big leagues, 1,103 games in the minor leagues. He did have a game-winning pinch hit 3-run homer last year in Washington.
Good for him. Real good because he beats the Reds.
Yeah, good for the Pirates, too. Said that he was asked if that was the greatest moment of his life. He said, no, the birth of my son. But then the follow-up question, best baseball moment of your life? Absolutely. Fly ball to left. Nate McLouth. The Braves had hopes that he was coming around, lifting his average this past homestand from 167 to 208 before that flyout. A 360 homestand, but McLouth, who had been penciled in as the leadoff hitter, dropped down to the 8-hole. Brooks Conrad, old school, according to Chipper Jones. Doesn't wear batting gloves. He just raw dogs it, according to the veteran Chipper Jones. One of those grinders. Tim Hudson with 2 outs and nobody on.
Well, you get the idea he's not going to quit. And he hung around the minor leagues for all that time. Tim Hudson can hit. 5 for 19.
Career 175 hitter with 1 home run. A ball and 2 strikes.
I would say he went around, but I've got a bad angle.
No, I know. Again, what new? Two and 2. Thanks to Jeff Mitchell and the boys for helping us out with that angle. Thank you for that. It's a very interesting point that you raised, Steve. Great camera shot. Oh, barrel of the bat goes sailing past Ollendorf, and now Cedeno throws out Hudson. 1-2-3. Go the Bravos. 1-0 Atlanta. at bat. We focus in on the skipper. On his birthday, Bobby Cox, 69 years old today, 29 seasons as manager, 25 of them at the helm of the Atlanta Braves. 4 National League pennants, the world champions in 1995, 4-time manager of the year, and a major league record, 154 ejections. PNC for the achiever in us all.
Just an absolute credit to the game of baseball. Bobby Cox.
4th on the all-time managerial list. All-time victories behind Tony La Russa and Hall of Famers John McGraw and Connie Mack. .2,000 career wins and counting as the skipper of the Atlanta Braves. 2,000 career wins, one team. Connie Mack and John McGraw and Walter Alston, the others, to accomplish that feat.
The 29 years overall, 4 with Toronto.
Yep.
All the rest of the Atlanta Braves.
In case you're wondering, he's 119 and 90 all time against Pittsburgh. Two and 2 on Garrett Jones, 2 for 8 in the series against the Brewers.
He will, Tim Hudson will try to get you visually to think upstairs every once in a while. He's going to try to get you out down, but he'll take the ball upstairs to try to get your vision up there and then go right back down where he's most effective. Right there.
Bounding ball and a seeing eye single. Another ground ball, but this one is a base hit. And because of that, Steve, the ground ball stuff, do you as a manager put your runners in motion more often?
Yep. Stay out of double plays. This is as routine as single.
Through that shift where the shortstop Escobar was almost behind second.
That's beating the shift gently.
Yeah. Ryan Church takes ball 1. 2-11 batter, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, and getting the start in left field. One for his last 21 in his last 6 games after he missed 5 games with a sore right wrist. And a ground ball knocked down by the second baseman Prado, and he throws, and the pick made by Gloss, and a minor collision over there.
A lot of activity on that ground ball. Because it got off the glove of Prado, that changed everything. He would have at least gotten the lead runner. And now the scramble. I was wondering, not so much that he held on to the ball, whether the runner, Church, got there in time, but he didn't. Good camera work there showing that the ball did arrive in time. Good hustle. It was like the youngsters to see how you can still have a play available even though you might kick the ball around a little bit. If you quit on it, you'll never have another chance.
Ryan Church retired.
A couple of good-sized men there, and Church really could have done a number on him if he wanted to, because Troy Glaus was very much exposed, trying to get ready to receive that baseball.
A 2-0 count on Domit. They appealed, no, says Tim Cheetah. Domit hitting .282, hit by a pitch as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night. 1 for 3 with an RBI on Wednesday against the Brewers. A 2.41 ERA for Hudson, which is 8th lowest in the league. And the count goes to 3-0 on Domit.
You've got some left-hand hitters in the lineup that are going to have to go downstairs and get those low deliveries that you're going to see from Tim Hudson.
Takes all the way. It's a 4-pitch walk. And lefties and righties doesn't really mean much in in terms of the batting averages. Lefties hitting .232 against him this year. Right-handers .208. It's just the 20th walk he's allowed this year in 54 innings. Hudson faces Jeff Clement. Hudson came back from Tommy John surgery. Made 7 starts last year with Atlanta after coming back from the ligament replacement surgery, and convinced the Braves that he was absolutely fine, so they gave him a 3-year contract extension. Ball 1 on Clement.
I wonder what the percentage is these days, and they keep track of everything, of how many Major League pitchers have had that Tommy John ligament replacement surgery.
And
would you guess 20, 25%?
Probably. And how much better are they after they have the surgery?
A lot of guys throw harder. That's a phenomenal part to me.
2-0 pitch.
Begging the question, why don't you, when you sign any pitcher, just send them down to Birmingham?
Yeah. Yep. Get that ligament
cut
replaced.
Them up. Yeah, stretch, put some new parts in.
2-0 count on Clement. And looks at a strike from Hudson. Clement went 2 for 4 with a home run on Saturday against the Cubs, a home run off Carlos Marmol. Marmol, one of the toughest pitchers in baseball to go deep on. Late on that fastball, 2-2 on Clement.
And there's a prime example right there. Tim Hudson, known for his ability to throw a ball downstairs, which usually doesn't lend itself to thinking he's a power guy, reaches back and gets that ball to home plate 91 miles an hour. I would think that's close to the top of his range in terms of speed. I'm sorry, velocity.
Just a tapper fouled off.
Can't say speed anymore. You got to say velocity. You can't say control anymore. You got to say command.
Yeah. The new verbiage.
Yeah. But what we really need here is more cowbell.
That's right. I'm not feeling it right now. Interleague play starting tonight. The only game involving 2 National League teams right here in Pittsburgh. And because the National League has 16 teams, American League 14, that's going to happen. 2 teams have to be left out. Bucks will begin interleague play June 11th in Detroit against the Tigers. Bounced right side. Second baseman will make the play, and Prado throws on to first. 2 down. Play goes 4-3.
And now Tim Hudson with that good control. I wonder how he'll approach this at bat by Ronnie Cedeno with Ohlendorf in the on-deck circle. I got the feeling that Ronnie won't see all that much to hit. You never know. Some pitchers have different philosophies. They certainly want to go right after him, but it's not going to be the case here. No more.
He won't see anything to hit here, Steve.
No more gray area as McCann steps out for the intentional walk.
But you're right.
There's some pitchers that hate this.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure this is ordered from the bench. This is what Bobby Cox wants.
A lot of those pitchers that hate it are in AAA ball.
Yeah. Roger McDowell is his pitching coach. And they'll face the light-hitting Ross Ohlendorf. Seems like it's routine. Ohlendorf this season 0 for 4. 4 hits in 70 career at-bats. A bit odd, though, that in 6 plate appearances this season, Ohlendorf has walked twice.
Well, you know, he's tough to pitch to.
Yeah.
What, 6'3", 6'5", something like that.
Jones, Domit, Cedeno, the runners. Down 1 run. And it's ball 1. Not close. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looking for his first career RBI, Steve.
Shorten up. Shorten the swing up. Choke up.
2-1. Do you remember your first career RBI?
No.
Okay. Glad we asked.
Kind of glad I don't remember, to tell you the truth.
2-1 pitch. And now 2-2. But your advice is sound. I would think that that's what you do, huh? Choke up and just try and put it in play somehow, some way.
Yeah, and try to do something early. The longer you wait around, the more pitches you see, the more trouble you're in. There you go.
Tapper left side. Chipper Jones to first. And Ollendorf busting it down the line. 1-0 Braves. On Sunday's Trib Total Media Pirates pregame show beginning at 1 right here on FSN Pittsburgh, Slippery Rock University. And our producer doesn't miss a trick there. Paul Mahallam makes sense. Slippery Rock tip. We bring in Mrs. Paul Mahallam. Jessica is with us with good reason, because you and Paul, Jessica, are working on a great event here at the Trib Total Media Hall of Fame Club at PNC Park.
Yes, we are. We are hosting the Gilda's Club here at the Trib Total Media on June 3rd.
We're all looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Great cause. It's wonderful that you get involved with this.
Thank you. It is a lot of fun. It's a great time to come and eat, drink, mingle with your Pirate players. So, great time.
6 to 9 p.m. A lot of Pirate players are going to be there. There's some great auction items, we understand. Jessica, trip to Chicago in August to see the Pirates play at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. There's some of the items. Pirates VIP experience. Golf with Paul Mahallam and Steve Blass.
Yeah.
What's better than that? Huh?
You know what? And Greg, you're invited to be our caddy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'll be there. I will be there. I'll do that. An Andrew McCutcheon framed and autographed photo, a Hines Ward and Troy Polamalu autographed footballs, Mario Lemieux autographed jersey, and much, much more. And there's going to be a special musical performance by Pirates pitcher Charlie Morton. And that's all at the Trib Total Media Hall of Fame Club here at PNC Park.
6 to 9 on the 3rd. Yep.
And
it'll be a great time.
Jessica, you and Paul have been involved the second year. You had it at the Gildas before.
Yes.
But this will be even, I hate to say it's better, it is going to be better. It's going to be bigger, more room, right?
It is. Paul and I have really taken over and really feel like Gildas is a part of us. And as is, most people know, Paul's lost his mom with cancer. And so, cancer touches everybody. And that's where Gildas comes in, and it opens its doors for everybody affected with cancer, either every step of it. If you have cancer or if you have a loved one that has passed away with cancer, they're there to support you every step of the way.
Well, great people, and it's a great cause. And that phone number, again, to purchase tickets, you can contact the Gildas Club at, what's that, Jessica?
It's 412-338-1919.
And that'll be on June the 3rd, 6 to 9 p.m. here at PNC Park. It'll be a lot of fun, and a bunch of players get involved. Paul and Jessica Mahalam hosting the program. And that will be ball 4. They appeal it, and no, says the first base umpire. Steve, I know when you were playing, the Pirate Wives got involved in a lot of charity. It seems like that's happening again, Jessica, that you all like have meetings on occasion and talk about this stuff. We had the Bowling with the Bucks charity event recently with Zach Duke and his wife Kristen.
Yes. And we have our event, and then, of course, the Russells are having their casino night coming up. And, you know, we're very lucky to be in the position where we can actually spotlight wonderful organizations like the Gilda's Club that are here for everybody. And, you know, they're not just for those, you know, that have cancer, but for everybody.
Well, the great thing is that we all have the opportunity, because of what we're involved in, to open doors and call on people to help. And the response is usually very, very, very gratifying. And I'm sure it's going to be on June 3rd. It's going to be a great turnout. When I was playing, the gals had an organization called the Pinch Hitters, and did a lot of things and got involved in various charitable functions in and around the city. So it's just great to see our current players, wives, and people around the organization get involved in the community. It's something we should do, and it's good to see.
Jason Hayward at the plate, a count of 1-0. Runner at first base is Prado. He walked. We're with Jessica Mahalam. Paul's way.
The big question is, will Paul give me some shots when we get auctioned off? I think it's imperative. Jessica, you say I'm older. Although I do currently have more hair than Paul, so that might not be a factor, but we'll look forward to that. That'll be a good time.
It will be. I think I know how much Paul loves golf, and which means he's very competitive, so I don't know how he's going to do about that. But
he will be. Yep. It'll be 28 against 28.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yep, same numbers.
28.
Yep.
Jessica, do you know the story that a couple of years ago in the Caravan, when Paul changed his number, that he and I decided to tell everybody for a whole week that he's looked up to Steve for so many years, he's decided to change his number to 28, and then we find out
the truth.
What is the truth about number 28?
He has been 28 for a very, very long time.
Back to his days at Mississippi State.
We saw footage at 20, and so the whole thing was really an unfortunate trick on me.
But you are a strong reason why 28.
Absolutely.
So the beat goes on.
Yeah.
No, we've become very good friends. I'm looking forward to playing golf, and hope somebody bids us up very, very high.
A lot of great items. Jessica, now you and Paul are both from Mississippi?
Yes.
And loaded question, what do you guys think of Pittsburgh?
We love Pittsburgh. It's a great city. It's a big city, but it really does have that small city, small town feel.
Wow. Nothing small about that home run. Jason Hayward, the rookie, makes it 3-0 with his 9th home run of the year. Just does clear the Clemente wall. 3-zip. He is something else.
Yeah, I don't think either 28 would like pitching to this young man. He's been pretty special for the Atlanta Braves. We've talked so often about the availability in right field for some home runs that don't have to carry all the way to the river, and he gets enough. He gets a lot of height. He's strong enough. And those are the kind of home runs we thought we would see a lot of when this ballpark was built.
Boy, oh boy. Hayward, 9 home runs. Talking to Eric Hinsky about that. A thumbs up. Well, that must not be fun when you're watching your husband pitching, right? What do you do? Are you at the ballpark most of the time, watching on TV? Are you all nervous?
I am home, but I'm normally at every game that he's at if he's here at home. If it's during the day game, I'm not. We have a little one, Wyatt, and he naps every day at the same time, so you cannot mess up his naps.
So does he know what's going on with Dad?
He does. A lot of times when I'm home, I'm like, "Where's Daddy?" And he'll point to the TV.
Yep.
But he likes it. He'll see him on TV and point and laugh, and he really gets a kick out of it. So
he just turned 2 last month, didn't he?
He
Is
did.
That right? 2 years old.
He did.
Wyatt, wow.
Cannot believe it.
I don't know whether you bring him up to be a golfer or a baseball player, but there's time.
Well, Daddy's going to try to do both if he has anything to do with it.
Ball is fair, ripped off the wall, and McCann does not run well, as we said, and he is out as Garrett Jones rifles a one-hop strike to second to nail McCann.
And that's what every pitcher loves, to get that kind of help when somebody blisters a ball off the wall.
McCann gets credit for the single, but thrown out by Garrett Jones.
And Garrett had to chase this ball down before he was able to cut loose that throw to second base. Over, in, and then a one-hop strike. Well done. Nice angles. And the Pirates continue to throw well from the outfield. At one time, I think last night, going into the game, they were tied with the Astros with the most outfield assists in the big league. So they haven't hurt their standings too much. That was a dandy.
That's their 14th outfield assist to lead the majors, and the third for Garrett Jones. As Troy Glass takes ball one. Well, Jessica Mahalam, again, thanks so much. That's Thursday, June 3rd, 6 to 9 p.m. Trib Total Media Hall of Fame Club here at PNC Park. Paul and his wife, Jessica Mahalam, going to host it and benefiting the Gilda's Club. Some great items up for bid. The Gilda's Club, meeting place where anybody living with cancer along with their families and friends can come for support. And again, the number to call the Gilda's Club, 412-338-1919.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your Saints.
Oh, yes, yes. The South is very excited. Sorry, Steelers.
Huge New Orleans Saints fans. Thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you all so much.
Appreciate it. Paul and Jessica Mahalam going to, for the second year, host that great event. Be here at the Trib Total Media Hall of Fame Club at PNC Park Thursday, June 3rd. Make sure you call and get your tickets before they're all gone. 412-338-1919. All fouled back. Well, they're great people. I'll tell you, Paul and Jessica. Over the last years, we've asked them to do a bunch of things, and they have never said no to it. They do it with a smile. You can tell what a great personality she has. And he's one of my favorites. Ohlendorf strikes out Gloss, but the leadoff walk, and then the rookie, 20 years old, Jason Hayward, the two-run homer. And they get a T-shirt, part of the ticket. They get some concession value loaded right onto that ticket for $20. Strike is called on Andy LaRoche. A lot of young fans on hand tonight.
Andy LaRoche victimized when he led off the bottom of the first. A great play by Chipper Jones.
You can come here and text.
I don't know much about college, but looks like they're having fun.
2-1 the count.
What do you got to say that, Mr. Brown?
You're classic. Nothing to say. You're the best. Hudson on the gloss. One down. Well, certainly you know something about this guy, huh?
Sure do.
Bill Mazeroski and the statue going to be unveiled on September the 5th. The Bill Mazeroski statue to be unveiled commemorating the greatest moment in Pittsburgh sports history. Don't miss your chance to be a part of it. Purchase a commemorative bronze leaf to be on display on the statue or near the statue. For more information, visit pirates.com/MazStatue.
Well, I didn't go to college, but I learned a lot from those guys I joined in 1964, one of whom was Bill Mazeroski, who gave me some of the greatest advice. He said, "You're here, don't make excuses. They want to know why you did, not why you didn't." Very simple.
Very good.
Hall of Famer. One of the great non-speeches in Cooperstown history.
That was great.
I had a chance to be in the audience after you tortured me the night before when we were in Colorado. I finally got up to Cooperstown. It was about 90,000 degrees. Maz started speaking, and you knew that he didn't have a chance to get very far. And all the former Hall of Famers sitting up there saying that was the most legitimate, honest response that anybody ever had.
So Maz, wasn't it? So Maz.
Yeah.
Walk to Crosby, and now McCutchen will face Tim Hudson. McCutchen tapped back to Hudson in the first.
Nothing to the outfield so far off Pirate bats except the little rolling single from Garrett Jones.
Hudson,
7 outs recorded, all on the ground.
He has given up 4 home runs this season, which actually is more than normal for him around this time of year. Gave up just 11 in 2008, 10 in 224 innings 3 years ago. 10 home runs.
There was one year where he gave up 25.
Yeah, that was the year before. The second season with Atlanta when he won 13 games.
What was the trio out in Oakland? It was Hudson, Zito, and Mulder. Mark Mulder.
Yep. And
they were real good for a good period of time.
The big three.
Barry Zito struggled initially with the Giants, and he's gotten it back together. He's pitching very well.
3-0 count on McCutchen. And I guess he wanted time, didn't get it, so they deliver, and it's ball 4. Back-to-back walks, 4 from Hudson. Talk about unusual. Of course, one was intentional.
Yeah, very much out of character.
McCann goes to talk to him.
Although he did have 5 in his second start of the year against the Padres, and had 6 2 starts ago.
Yeah, those are the two, obviously the 2 starts that stand out. His last time out, 8 innings, 1 walk. Before that Brewers meltdown where he walked 6 in 6 innings. No walks in 7 innings against the Washington Nationals.
Career-wise, much better than 2-to-1 ratio, strikeouts to walks. So the control has been very much above average throughout his career.
It's fouled off. And 3 of the 19 free passes have been intentional coming into this game. Keep that in mind, too. 0-1 on Garrett Jones, who singled and a ground ball up the middle in the second. Showed you that graphic earlier. 47 double plays turned by the Braves. That's the most in the league. Cleveland has turned 54. 0-2.
One thing about Tim Hudson, and it'll give you a little glimpse of why he has been so good. His record has been so good. Yeah, he's a guy that keeps the ball down, but it's not the typical sinker guy that throws it 84, 85, 86. He's throwing those fastballs downstairs 89, 90, 91, 92. Big difference when there's that much speed and you're still downstairs in that location.
Stays 0-2. Tomorrow night, Garrett Jones figurines will be given away. Here he's showing them to you. Garrett Jones figurines to all fans, courtesy of Dick's Sporting Goods. Also an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. All fans get a scratch card good for prizes from Eaton Park. Tomorrow night, 7:05, Game 2 of the series. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. Action figurine.
Those are some big arms.
Yeah.
That's a bigger upper body.
1-2. And while you're here, folks at Aramark have asked me to mention this because it's becoming a popular item. Pick up the Garrett Jones camouflage T-shirt that Garrett Jones himself has been wearing. Garrett G.I. Jones, and they've now got a T-shirt out there that's appropriate. Steve will get a couple dozen.
Absolutely.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count on Garrett Jones. Two and 2. Ryan Church on deck. Crosby and McCutcheon the runners. Bucks down by 3.
Got to step off. Got no shortstop.
Escobar went over. This is Hudson's 9th career start against the Buccos. He's 4-3 in his career, a 2.82 ERA versus Pittsburgh. And Garrett Jones having himself a fine at bat to this point.
This would be very unusual if he misses here. Walk 3 in a row. Tim Hudson.
Go back to the media guides. Check out when the last time that has happened, if ever.
Remember the late Joe Nuxall? When something like that. Get the book. Get the book. We'd hear it in the background. Get the book.
3-2 pitch to Garrett Jones. And a double play ball. 4-6-3.
Easy double play.
Through 3 innings, the score remains 3-0 Braves. Chipper Jones, who has played the most games under a single manager in Major League history. Jones is second all-time, 2,202 games under Bobby Cox. Wow. Who has played the most games in Major League history? under one manager? That's a great question. Steve, what's the answer?
I just told you I didn't go to college. I'm working on it. With the dog show.
You sound like Triumph.
Yeah, Triumph, the insult dog. I want to go to college.
You're in my shot. 1-1 on Hinsky. Well, let's go way back, don't you? Be a Yankee. Are we going to get any hints from the truck, the trailer? 1 ball, 2 strikes. Popular cotton candy tonight.
Every dentist dream.
Yep.
But it's hard to resist.
It's line to right. Jones getting over quickly. Hinsky wants 2. And Hinsky is into second with a double.
Coming right over the head of Clement.
Hinsky into second with a leadoff double. Prado started the game with a leadoff double and scored. You know, Escobar lined out to Garrett Jones to start the second inning.
And the way Tim Hudson is pitching, even though he's leaving some Pirate runners on the base paths, I'd like to shut it right down here.
Yep.
Find a way to get down bottom of the order. Not that Hudson's an automatic out. Find a way to wiggle around, prevent that leadoff double from scoring.
2-0 count on Escobar. Miguel Escobar, 27-year-old native of Havana, Cuba. And a strike.
Right there in the outside corner with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Steve, anybody that you can think of who played under Leo DeRocher for a long time?
Billy Williams did. Sando. Sando did.
Ernie Banks.
Ernie. But you have to go way back.
I'm going to go with Ernie Banks. Ball 3, 3-1. The hint is that there's a statue at for the player at the ballpark at which he played. Ball 4. Runners at first and second. Domet goes out to talk to Ollendorf. Joe Kerrigan goes out. Well, I guess
that's a very good question. Now the ballparks that are no longer there, but there's a statue.
Yeah, it could only be Fenway and Wrigley, and the only statue at Wrigley is Harry Carey. And I don't know. Is there an Ernie Banks statue there at Wrigley? Well, then Kerrigan out to talk with Ollendorf. It brings up McLeod, who flied to left in the second.
Unusual. You got to think about guys that have been around a long time.
Unusual for I don't know who either. Red Schoendienst.
He probably went through a lot of managers.
It's a tough one. Nate McLeod bunts. And who's going to be at first? Got him. Crosby just got there.
Well, that was like a moving pick on a basketball court. All of a sudden, the players separated. Bobby came through, and the Pirates got the out that I didn't think they were going to get at that point.
Well, bunting with Tim Hudson coming to the plate.
Now you got to be aware of a lot of possibilities here. Hart infielders are in now. Bobby Crosby about halfway.
Dolman again to talk to Ohlendorf.
Got to get this trivia question squared away. Well, the Detroit ballpark is gone.
Yeah, I guess it would just be at the city, not the ballpark.
Yeah. The city's gone?
The city is gone. The city is no more. No, the ballpark's gone. Oh. What happened to the city?
Well,
what happened to you is a better question.
That makes it tougher.
What happened to you? Really? What happened to you and when? Ball one on Hudson.
These are those occasions where you just got to find a little extra. Yeah. This is the man you have to strike out. May not happen, but that is the script that you want to write right now. Get a second out where it's most available.
You've got to keep Hudson and the Braves within their sights. Right now it's 3-zip. And look at this. A base hit. 4-0 Atlanta.
Not only that, but now you go back to the top of the batting order. They're still very much in business with one out. So they've scored again without it costing them a second out even. And the Braves have set up shop with Tim Hudson on the mound and with the bat.
Base hit. Now Escobar to third. Hudson the RBI, his second of his career of this season. Career RBI number 26. The strike is called on Martin Prado, who's doubled in a run, walked, and scored.
Well, everybody knows the old adage: if you want to beat the good pitchers, you simply don't beat them with the bats, you outpitch them. And that's what happened against Roy Halladay when the Pirates beat him 2-1. That's how you have to beat the big guys, and 95% of the time that's how it has to happen.
Derek Lowe will pitch tomorrow night against Charlie Morton. Gilman with a block, pitch in the dirt, 1-2.
Just put the body there. Just keep the ball out in front. That's all you have to do. Stabilizes everybody.
Pirates get Jeff Karstens up in the bullpen. Foul to the left.
Still time for a big strikeout to keep the runners at first and third. Still time. This ball game may appear to be out of hand with the way Hudson is going, but it's not. It's not out of hand at this point. It's heading in that direction, but it's not there yet.
Throw over to first base. And the pitcher Hudson. Wonder if that's ever happened before. Jim? He's laughing like, wow. So
well, that's a smile of flattery.
Yeah.
He was just given an enormous compliment. That will be discussed tomorrow extensively in the Braves clubhouse.
Oh, and again.
Now, he's smiling and looking at Glenn Hubbard, the first base coach. If he is picked off, he may not want to come back into the dugout. I mean, that's a non-threatening lead, to be quite honest with you.
No career stolen bases.
It's less threatening now.
Ground ball, diving stop. There's one, and that's all they'll get. LaRoche to Crosby. $5-0.
Good job by Andy to flag that ball down and get pretty much all that was available. ball was not hit very hard. That's what allowed him to get over there and cut it off.
Tim Hudson, the RBI single. Now he has a 5-0 lead, and here is Jason Hayward, who's walked and homered. And the pickoff try sails past Clement, allowing Prado to go to second.
That ball on the second base side of first base. Didn't know if Jeff was going to be able to reach over and get that ball. I thought he still had a chance to at least catch it, give up the opportunity for any chance to get an out. I'd like to take another look at that just to see if there was a legitimate chance for him at first base or not. Let's hope that it doesn't have any meaning.
The big cut from Hayward. Wednesday night went 3 for 5 in his first career triple, couple of doubles, including the game winner that brought home Martin Prado.
One more look at this situation at first base. Slow it down. Be a tough situation for Jeff to get in and around and over.
Hayward sounded like he broke his bat. Fly ball toward the seats out of play.
You get nervous when the ball goes up in the air to right field by a guy that has pretty good power.
Certainly didn't miss this one as he goes back to get the new bat. Back in the third inning, our Coors Light cold hard blast. Prado on at first. Hayward lifts one over the Clemente wall. His 9th home run of the year. Second given up by Ohlendorf. Cold hard blast brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. This ball lined to right field. Off the wall. Bounces hard away from Garrett Jones. Prado is in, and Jason Hayward on base for the 3rd straight time, and the Braves lead 6-0.
And that ball was hit harder than the home run. That's what they call centered. Didn't miss getting out of here by much, and that's going to be the end of the evening for Ross Ohlendorf.
Another look at how close it came.
Yep.
Here the console sign. Not Ohlendorf's night, that's for sure. That's our Columbia Gas 811 call to the pen. the answer to the question, who's played the most games under a single manager in Major League history? Hannes
Fred
Wagner.
Clark?
Under Fred Clark, 2,591 games. How about that?
They tricked us hard. They got us good.
Now, do you think I did a good job of bluffing like I didn't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did know?
Well, you gave me so much grief the last time I guessed. I figured no more. Ball one on Chipper Jones. Jones singled in a run of the first, struck out. Not a good night for Ollendorf. 3 2/3, 7 hits.
So ironic. We were talking about the strong starting pitching for the Pirates that allows you to have your good bullpen be part of a win. Now, they can pitch their heart out tonight, and you kind of waste that effort in a sense. So your starting pitchers, if they can get the ball game in good order to a good bullpen, that's the ideal scenario. When you don't get your starter, you can use that good bullpen to not much effect. I mean, doesn't do you much good.
Check swing. Appeal. Tim Cheetah. No. And ball four. 4-pitch walk to Chipper Jones from Karstens, first batter he faces.
And a nice turnout here tonight. And so far, not much to cheer about for Pirate fans, as the Braves are doing some damage with the bats, and they've got an ace out on the mound.
Andrew McCutcheon canvas photographs were given away tonight, and the Braves in town, the first meeting of the year between these two clubs.
We will not see that ball bouncing away from Dome, but it's a strike. We'll not see the other phenom. We've seen all we want to see, Jason Hayward, but Tommy Hanson, one of their real good young pitchers, will not be involved in this series. But the Braves do come back to town in September, and that'll really be part of Bobby Cox's farewell tour, as he has announced his retirement after the season.
Fouled off to the right by McCann. September 6th, 7th, and 8th, the Braves return. It's the only team outside their division that they will play more than twice. Of course, they go to Atlanta. That'll be coming up their next road trip. Line foul. Bobby Cox. And 69 years old today.
How about that run? 14 straight division championships. I mean, that to me is as impressive as some World Series championships.
Yeah.
I really mean that, because that's the measure when you do that through those long grinding seasons of 6 months.
Popped up right field. Garrett Jones makes the catch. The Atlanta Braves tack on 3 more as the Pirates come to bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning. They trail it 6-0. Braves were in St. Louis the end of April, and they gave him a signed photograph from Stan the Man Musial. Other gifts, the Aspendell Make You Smile.
You saw Red Shandings in that picture with Tony La Russa, longtime manager of the Cardinals.
Pirates plan to do something very special for Bobby Cox, obviously, when the Braves return in September. Going through the farewell tour. He's going to stick around as a consultant.
I spoke to Bobby tonight. I said, how's this farewell tour going? He said, everybody's been wonderful, very kind. I said, a lot of emotions. He said, yeah, yep.
Fouled off by Church, not by much. You know, now the question is going to be, of course, speculation on who will replace Bobby Cox and how much say he'll have in it. You have to figure he'll have a big say.
Yeah, as a consultant.
As to who replaces him, right. All of a sudden he's a consultant. Well, I'll consult you. And a lot of people figuring that Freddie Gonzalez, who was a coach on his staff for a while and is now been the manager for the Florida Marlins 4 years running, and the great respect that certainly Bobby Cox has for Gonzalez.
That respect didn't diminish any with the way he handled Mr. Ramirez. Yanked him out of the ball game.
Shades of the Andrew Jones play. Up. Ball was not fouled off Domit. Domit says it was. He's arguing the point here with Bob Davidson and showing him. But it's a bouncer to first. 2 down.
You slow it down. See the dirt jump up.
Not even close, was it?
No,
Not on that angle.
Well, you know, why not try it? You know, he didn't have a chance to do anything else. See if he can sell it to the umpire.
Two outs. This, from what I hear, Steve, this plays into a guy like Hudson's hands. We try and pull him.
Oh yeah. Yep. What do they call it? Rolling over on the ball, and you'll hit those easy ground balls to second base, first base. Ryan didn't have a real good argument there. The ball was not that close to the foot.
Curveball missing, 1 and 2 on Clement.
And once again, Tim Hudson getting that terrific offensive support.
Yeah.
They've averaged 10 runs in each of his 4 wins.
Good night. 1, 2, 3. Pirates go quickly and quietly. After 4, Braves lead 6-0. check out our This Day in Pirates history, brought to you by Day Automotive. It was on this day in 1948. One of the all-time great guys, Steve. Frankie Gustine went 5 for 5 in an 8-4 win over the Dodgers at Ebbets Field. The Bucks getting the win. That lineup included not only Gustine at third, but Ralph Kiner in left and Danny Murtaugh at second base. Frankie Gustine played with the Pirates from 1939 to 1948. Later coached many years the late Frankie Gustine.
I think Danny Murtaugh was involved in a trade with Whitey Kurowski. Got him to Pittsburgh. Either got him here or when he left. Came on to win 2 World Series championships. Danny Murtaugh with his teams of 60 and 71.
Steve, of course, played under Danny Murtaugh.
Absolutely loved him. Thought he was a fine manager and a better person.
Hinsky has fouled out and doubled. By the way, it was also on this day in 1979. The Seattle Mariners smack out 15 hits in a 12-7 win over the Kansas City Royals. The only Seattle player without a hit. They had 15 hits. One player without a hit.
Junior.
In 1979.
Oh, that wasn't Junior.
A former Pirate. Mario Mendoza.
It always comes back to Mario.
The Mendoza line.
Any batter that's hitting under 200 is known to be under the Mendoza line. Mario was never a big fan of that whole program.
He's come to accept it. There was a story, I think, recently in Sports Weekly, USA Today publication, that talked about that Mario Mendoza really fought it for a long time, and after a while, now of course, in many years, he's come to accept it. He was a great defensive shortstop from Mexico.
Yep.
That really struggled at the plate, and actually had a lifetime batting average of .215. But Mendoza finished that 1979 year hitting just .198 as Hinsky draws the 1-out walk from Karstens. They say that it was George Brett who actually coined the term early in that season. He asked about his own batting average. Brett is said to have remarked, "The first thing I look at in the Sunday papers is who is below the Mendoza line." Apparently Tom Paciorek also credited as one of the creators of that expression, the Mendoza line. Player hitting under 200. And here is a man who's under the Mendoza line currently, Yunel Escobar, batting .198. He's lined to right, walked and scored.
I think the line's tough. Think about having a disease named after you.
Yeah. That's a good line there, Steve. Good Mendoza line.
Yeah. But I did hit .250 one year.
Jason in the trailer, one of the lead gypsies, tells us, by the way, that your first career RBI. They've looked that up.
Oh my God.
They've looked it up. It's available for everybody to see. Ball popped up in the foul territory, and the catch made by Clement. And that is out number 2. Brings up Nate McLouth. But it was July 23rd. July 23rd, 1964 at St. Louis.
Oh,
you remember that now?
Yes. I forget.
You remember who the pitcher was?
Dizzy Dean.
Jason, help me out. Glenn Hobie, Steve. You remember Glenn Hobie?
Yeah, they named those boats after him. The Hobie Cat.
Ball hit in the air to left. Back is Church, and he makes the catch. To the halfway mark. The Atlanta Braves lead the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-0. Oh, nice crowd on hand. 6-0 Atlanta.
Beautiful night turned out to be.
Gorgeous. Andrew McCutcheon photo canvas wraps. Given away. Ball hit in the air to right. Catch made by Hayward on a fly ball hit by Cedeno. Jeff Karstens. Karstens 1 hit and 5 at bats this season. And to third. Well, it's all about pitching, Steve, and a lot of attention right now tonight in Erie, Pennsylvania, where Brian Morris, who was promoted the other day from A-ball Bradenton to Altoona, making his first Double-A start.
Hasn't missed a beat.
5 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits.
Like the hit total, like the walk total.
Neil Huntington said last week that it is not out of the realm of possibility that Morris, if he performs well at Double-A, could make the jump to Triple-A. And of course, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you get to Triple-A,
you're on the doorstep.
You're pretty close. So the way
September
Morris was
calls.
absolutely dominating at the A-ball, high A, Bradenton, with an 0.60 ERA. Not a surprise that he was promoted, and we'll keep watching those starts of his. Brian Morris. He was acquired from the Dodgers along with Andy LaRoche in that 3-team deal involving Jason Bay and Manny Ramirez. And LaRoche bounces out in a 7-pitch inning through 5, 6-0 Atlanta. Federal Street. Kids run the bases after the game thanks to HK Pretzels. And all kids 14 and under this Sunday receive pierogi wind-up racers, courtesy of Mrs. T's Pierogies. Go to Pirates.com for details. Bouncing ball to first. Tim Hudson is retired. Ryan Domet showing you those pierogi racers that you'll receive on Sunday. Those things can really motor. You'll want to race Chester and Hannah on your own.
It looks like Hannah's the winner there. Got better look. Looks like a better attitude, a lot of confidence.
On Sunday, Steve, I challenge you to a race. I'm going to get a couple of those pierogi racers, and we'll be on the radio side, you and I. Maybe Tim and Bob will play along with us. What do you think?
I did put on a pierogi uniform once. I had it on. I had a race.
You really did?
I did.
In game?
No. Okay. Off day.
You know, Bob Walk actually did it in game.
I did it on an off day against Mr. Justin.
Oh, you did. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Martin Prado. So you mean to tell me that could be Dave Justy?
No. We
strike 3 call
a long time ago.
Oh, before the gates opened, huh?
No, on an off day.
I see. Yes. Understand that June 17th during our FSN auction during the Pirates game, one of the many auction items up for bid will be a chance for you to run in the pierogi race in game. I don't mean you, Steve. I mean you watching at home. Yeah. Although you could bid.
I would expire if I had to put that on and run all the way around the warning track.
Here is Jason Hayward. What will this guy do next? How good will this player be? Line drive to center. McCutcheon racing in, and McCutcheon makes the catch.
The big glove. He puts the big leather around it. 2 cows died for that glove.
Outstanding grab from Andrew McCutcheon. This line drive by Jason Hayward. The jump, the dive. That belongs to Garrett Jones. Crosby and McCutcheon reached in the third, back-to-back walks. The Pirates were down 3-0 in the bottom of the third inning. Garrett Jones worked the count full, and Hudson got him to bounce into an inning-ending double play.
They had 2 chances, actually. He had the bases loaded, and then that opportunity in the third.
Second inning, the Pirates had the bases loaded thanks to A leadoff hit by Jones, and with 1 out, Domet walked after Clement bounced out, putting runners at second and third. Bobby Cox elected to walk Ronnie Cedeno intentionally to get to Pirates pitcher Ross Ohlendorf, and he bounced out.
Well, for a guy who's been pitching in the big leagues for 11 years, he knows how to go to the whip with a 6-run lead.
Crosby, fly ball, shallow left, that'll drop in. Well, let's check out tonight's Home Depot doing more on defense. And moments ago, Andrew McCutchen makes the outstanding jump and uses those great legs. And then hits the ground. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And here is McCutchen. Yes. Bounced to the mound and walked. Kutch's crew. Number 22 in section 333.
You got Kutch's crew, you got the Millage people.
Yeah.
Blasting's not in the starting lineup.
Well, that is certainly understandable. His career 0 for 12 against Tim Hudson. Line towards center, and there is McLeod. McCutchen lines out. Crosby at first with 1 away in the 6th. Hudson will face Garrett Jones. Tim Hudson looking for his 5th win. 6'1", 174 pounds. He's 34 years old, from Columbus, Georgia. This is his 6th year with the Braves.
Working that tattoo on the pitching arm, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Got that going for him.
Which is nice. Foul the other way by Garrett Jones. The Braves got Hudson from the A's in exchange for Juan Cruz, Dan Meyer, and Charles Thomas, December of 2004.
Worked out pretty well for the Braves, didn't it?
I think so.
Not hearing all that much about the other 3 guys.
Hudson in his first full year with Oakland. Well, he had gone 11-2 in 1999. He wasn't in the big leagues the entire season that year, but the following year he went 20-6.
They got him out of Vancouver pretty quick after starting 4-0.
Jones reaches and hits a fly ball to left center. And McLeod. Time for the Coors Light 6th inning Coors Light freeze cam. And earlier, Eddie LaRoche, the bottom of the 1st inning, hits this one hop smash. Chipper Jones makes the play. Freeze cam brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. There's Chipper Jones, still doing it at the age of 38. Jones had threatened to call it a career if he doesn't bounce back this season. Chipper Jones, who 2 years ago won the batting title, but last year hit this .264 with 18 homers, drove in 71. Church has bounced out and fly to left.
There's that real above average fastball downstairs, and that one underneath the strike zone. Really not much you can do with that kind of speed and that kind of location.
Church with 1 hit in his last 23 at bats since he missed 5 games with that sore wrist. Two and two the count on Ryan Church. Church, who spent part of last year with the Braves. Braves picked him up in July, the Jeff Francoeur deal. He hit .260 in Atlanta with a couple of homers and 18 RBIs. Souvenir.
There's the hero with the hat on. He's the hero to that little.
Oh, Hudson gets the call. Church didn't like it. Strike 3 called. 6-0. Ball 1. Chipper Jones has singled in a run, struck out and walked. And lines this ball toward right and over. And making a fine catch is Garrett Jones.
Ball stayed up just long enough for Garrett Jones to get to it.
Brings up Brian McCann.
Little sidebar here, but Jeff Carstens is really doing a nice job for John Russell.
Saving that bullpen for sure, isn't he? This is why he's really become a very valuable player on this team. Jeff Carstens, he can spot start for you. He's done that. Long relief. And just as we say that, Brian McCann drives one out of here. Brian McCann, it's his 5th, and gives Atlanta a 7-0 lead. Five homers for McCann. 15 RBIs now for this 4-time All-Star. With 21 home runs last year.
You talk about some veteran hitters in back of the youngster and back of Jason Hayward. Jones, McCann's been around, Klaus, Hinsky. It's some guys who have a pretty good major league resume. And McCann adds to his.
I guess that's really why you're able to do that, stick in a rookie like that. With
Fit.
confidence, yeah,
Great
perfect fit. Troy Glass made the transition from third base to first base. Bobby Cox was quite certain that Glass would be able to handle that. He has. Played in only 14 games last year with the Cardinals with right shoulder surgery. It's a ball deep to right center. Catch in there.
You can see some pretty good at-bats off Jeff Carson's. The ball that Jones hit was a line drive in the home run, and this ball had a lot of carry. Okay. John Russell would like to get one more inning, this being this inning, out of Jeff. See what happens after that. 3 1/3 in a game that, quite honestly, is out of hand at this point. Is good work out of one man in the bullpen to save the guys that have been coming in when games have been on the line. So, underappreciated pitcher out there in the bullpen, the Pirates bullpen.
One and 2 on Hinsky. He's been on base twice, doubled and scored in the fourth. Remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This will be what, 3 1/3 if he gets this done. Or he pitches not overly taxing.
2 and 2. We'll count full. Not overly taxing, but you can just about tell it's
He's running out
about
of gas.
the end of the line for him.
Yeah.
Looking for that one more out. Joe Kerrigan watches as his right-hander looks for the final out in the 7th inning. And he'll get it on a fly ball to left field. Hinsky will be retired. Church makes the catch. 7th inning stretch time. See if the Pirates can at least stretch out a couple of hits, maybe grab a couple of runs here. list with some left hamstring tightness. Neil Huntington said he's expected to come off the DL as soon as he's eligible. Our injury update, thanks to our friends at Allegheny General Hospital Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the Bucs work for the time being with one lefty in their bullpen. That's Javier Lopez. Omar Infante takes over third base for Chipper Jones. And Melky Cabrera in left field for Hinsky.
And it's a matter of what Bobby Cox wants to do with Tim Hudson. This game is well in hand. Common practice in this kind of situation to maybe look at 7 innings. You also have those exceptional veterans that will go further, the Roy Halladay's. Sometimes the Tim Hudson's, nothing happening in the Braves bullpen. It's been a fairly common practice when a game is under control, as it is in this point, to have your starter go 7.
And that would seem to fit perfectly with the pitch count. He's at 93 now, and coming off Tommy John surgery, returning last year for a handful of games. They're not going to go much past. He threw 105 pitches his last time out, and that's the season high for him. Popped up. Infante.
He is getting some very, very comfortable outs. And there is action in the Pirate bullpen, so as we speculated, there's a good chance that we might see the end of Jeff Karstens.
Pulled foul. Oh, and 2. Two outs. And again, as Steve said, comfortable. Tonight has been very comfortable for Tim Hudson. 2 hits. Aside from those 4 walks, 1 intentional, he has been on absolute cruise control. He got out of that semi-jam in the second after the intentional walk to Cedeno, but then it was just a matter of time before he got Ohlendorf. First and second with 1 out in the third. He got Garrett Jones to bounce into the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play.
Yeah, when you see no walk since the third, he's just throwing a lot of strikes. He knows the deal.
Another ground ball. And on to first. 1, 2, 3 for the 4th inning. Hudson retires the Pirates in order. Cruising 7-0. Tonight's game summary. Atlanta leads 7-0. Jason Hayward, the outstanding 20-year-old rookie, 2 for 3, double home run, 3 ribbies. Chipper Jones, his RBI single in the first inning is all that Tim Hudson has needed, as he's gone 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. And that kind of describes really what, well, still having fun, but my goodness, this offense just shut down tonight by Hudson.
There's only so many options you have when
yeah.
the team's getting beat up like this with pitching and some hitting.
DJ Carrasco faces Yunel Escobar. Nice little play by Andy LaRoche. 1 down. Andy LaRoche is going to be at the Miracle League field in Cranberry tomorrow at noon. By the way, if you're out that way, that Miracle League field is something to see, and what's really something to see is to watch those kids play baseball for the first time in their lives.
You will not forget it. You see that. Great job by Jeff Carson. 3 1/3, 1 run on the 1 hit, the home run. He walked a couple and struck out 1. Very good work for Jeff.
Diving stop. Can they get McLeod? And he does. Well done. LaRoche.
Give Andy a circle on that one. Nice play going to his left. Ball hit hard enough so when he did get to it, he had time to get up and make the play. And that's kind of the way that Nate McLeod's year is going.
Yeah, talking about the Mendoza line. He's probably back down around 200.
He was at 167 and then had a little hot streak to get it up to 208.
Well, Tim Hudson is going to go at least another inning as he grounds out 6-3 in a 4-pitch 8th inning for DJ Carrasco. Manitoba Media Youth Baseball or Softball Team of the Month. Write a short essay to baseball@fsnpittsburgh.net telling us why and your team could be featured during a Trib Total Media Pirates pregame show. Yeah, showing you how to swing like this. Yep. Aki Iwamura batting for Carrasco. Boom. Swing. Iwamura, who left last Saturday's game with tightness in his right hamstring. The status has been day-to-day for a week now. It was his last start against the Cubs at Wrigley. He is hitless in his last 28 at-bats.
not the best guy to come in against. Hudson has been terrific. Just the dribbler through the infield by Jones and a little flare base hit by Bobby Crosby. And this is a classic example of a good pitcher. You don't get him early, you don't get him at all. And he's booking now.
Whoa.
Just keeps it going.
And Iwamora's struggles continue.
I talked to Don Long. We had him on the pregame show last night on the radio side, and Aki has tried everything by himself. Don has worked with him, and he's just kind of gotten down to a point where I need help. You get to that level, and you wonder where you're going to kind of bottom out, if you will. And sometimes it's hard to start going the other direction until you realize you are there at that point. And just kind of turn yourself over for help. How easy is this?
Wow.
Tim Hudson. You know, and a lot of big league pitchers are capable of doing this. It's just that there are a select few guys that do it more often than others, and they do it a lot. And Tim Hudson has pitched these kind of games. And that's what it is. Anybody that gets here is capable of doing it, but the good ones do it a lot. They do it often. There was a time way back when Tim Hudson was almost averaging a strikeout per inning. Not anymore. That's just his third tonight, but he is pitching himself one whale of a baseball game.
0-2. That's still just an amazing sight. It just is absolutely amazing. There's just no,
it's a movie set.
There's nothing. It does
take
not
the
look
buildings
real.
away, it's New Orleans.
Incredible. Bobby Crosby has been on base 3 times tonight. He has 2 of the 3 hits, and even a weak single to center draws reaction from the crowd. 22,470.
Jim Hudson, like a smart pitcher, will get that bare hand out of the way. You have no idea unless you've been out there that the spin on that ball, and it can just break a finger, break a bone in your hand very easily, because it's more than just a ball bouncing at you. There's a lot of spin on it.
He had a chance for 2. Or it doesn't matter.
But still, you're right.
With 2 outs, you don't need just 1. And right now, he just needs 1 more inning for the complete game. Radio Network affiliates Sunday back on FSN Pittsburgh at 1, and then on the road. 4-game series in Cincinnati. All 6:30 air times. And then it's on to Atlanta. Toyota, the road ahead for the Pirates. Brendan Donnelly, fresh off the disabled list. He pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning last night. Tomorrow, Charlie Morton against Derek Lowe. Martin Prado. Double in the first inning and scored. Walked and scored in the third. Reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth inning and scored. Three walks from Ohlendorf in 3 2/3. 2 walks from Karstens in 3 1/3. The Braves came in having drawn 183 walks, the most in the major leagues. So they add to their league leading total, drawing the base on balls. This is the league leader in hits, Martin Prado.
And Charlie Morton and the Pirates are going to have to be on their game against Derek Lowe. He's been double figure winner as a major league pitcher for the last bunch of years.
I think it's fair to say that once again Charlie Morton needs a good start. I mean,
just go right out on the fence, huh?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he just can't. We've been asked about that, different radio shows and so forth. But I mean, you can't just keep going out there. I mean, he just has to have a good start. I'm not saying he's going to be pulled from the rotation if he doesn't, but you can't. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that.
No,
you can't just keep going out there and giving up a bunch of runs.
He needs it for himself, but he also needs it for this ball club.
Right.
Trying to get a ball club that's trying to raise itself up to 500 by its bootstraps. You can always adjust goals after that, but I wouldn't mind seeing him at 500 and then see where you go from there.
One ball, 2 strikes. Morton 1-7, a 9.68 ERA. Last time out on Monday in Philadelphia, 4 innings, gave up 6 runs. The start before that, he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings against the Reds here at PNC Park. 2-2. Stays 2-2. Interleague play tonight. The Yankees and the Mets, that Subway Series. Yankees score 2 times in the 7th and lead the Mets 2-0 at Citi Field. But, 1 hit given up by Javier Vasquez. Ball bounced to the shortstop, Cedeno. 1 up, 1 down in the 9th inning. Voting now open for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Pirates to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times at Pirates.com. Visit Pirates.com and cast your ballot for your 2010 All-Stars. Vote early and vote often. Vote tonight at Pirates.com. Now the veteran Brendan Donnelly against the rookie Jason Hayward. Hayward retired last time when he lined out to Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen came racing in, made a diving catch. Hayward has walked, homered, doubled off the Clemente wall and right. 3 RBIs, 33 for the season.
Brendan Donnelly behind 2-0. You said Donnelly on the disabled list, but he's 2-0. It continues that winning percentage thing. That's
crazy.
So interesting to look at. 29-9 coming into the season, so now he's 31-9. Just don't see that. And he's moved around. It's not like it's been accomplished for one team. He's bounced around. You just don't. Well, talk to Elroy Face if you think it's a little unusual. When Elroy went 18-1 that one.
Or easytouse.com minor league connection update. Brian Morris and his AA debut for the Altoona Curve gave up 1 run, struck out 7, and 5 1/3 on 3 hits, walked 2. Altoona leading Erie 6-1. Liner up the middle. Jason Hayward on base for the 4th time. A walk, a homer, a double, and a single.
And you can believe there was a pitch count involved in Altoona in that game. 5 1/3, giving up 1 run, so it's the way it works.
Well, you're watching Jason Hayward tonight, and Pirate fans hopeful that when Pedro Alvarez arrives, probably sometime this summer, that he'll have the kind of impact that Jason Hayward is having on this Atlanta Braves team. Leads the club in RBIs. Yep, there it is. Hayward,
keeping score.
The walk in the 1st, the home run in the 3rd, the double in the 4th, lined out to center in the 6th, and moments ago the single, line single to center.
Pretty good job of scorekeeping right there. Good looking card. With the shaded areas where scoring has occurred. It's obviously the Braves side of the card.
Chipper Jones lifted for Omar Infante. Right now, with Hayward's 3 RBIs tonight, he would be in the top 5 as Domet not able to handle it.
Got crossed up, looks like. Or perhaps not, perhaps just checking signs. No, I don't think so. Just went down on the backhand side, which is not really what you want to do with that ball moving in that direction. Just goes back to check with Brendan on the signs of the man on second.
Infante fouls it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Omar Infante, with Jason Hayward at second, 1 out, and a 7-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves. Here's Hayward again. The 33 RBIs right now would be the 3rd most in the National League for this 20-year-old. Bobby Cox was right.
Yep. Bobby pretty happy he is sticking around and has stuck around long enough to see this young man break in.
Hayward goes back to second. Yep. There goes 1-3. After the pass ball, charge to Domet. Infante bounces it back to the mound and brings up Brian McCann. Jason Hayward. McCann at the plate. McCann homered in the 7th. The Athens, Georgia native. 0-1 on McCann. Time called. McCann again last year at 281 with 21 homers, drove in 94. Second round pick in 2002. Goes to 1-1. The last 4 years, McCann has driven in 370 runs. That's the most by any major league catcher over that span. He's also hit 90 homers since 2006, the most of any catcher in the big leagues.
He joins that group of people who have had those unusual examples of eyewear. Remember the big closer for the Dodgers? Who am I thinking?
Gagne.
Eric Gagne. He had a set of goggles on him.
McCann had all kinds of trouble with that.
Yep. Vision stuff. They tried everything with it.
Didn't want to go with the goggles. Tried the contact lenses. He was on the DL for a while with a left eye infection.
But he's got the lamps on, and I think Brendan Donnelly has the lamps on.
Yep.
So this could be a standoff.
Popped up. Cedeno makes the catch. 7-0. Atlanta leads it. 3-hitter going. Right-hander Roy Oswalt. John Main has been placed on the disabled list. MRI revealing shoulder weakness. Shin-Soo Choo, pair of home runs. The Reds, however, lead the Indians 6-4 in interleague play. We mentioned Javier Vasquez for the Yankees, one hitting the Mets.
Eric O'Flaherty coming into work here for the Atlanta Braves in the bottom of the 9th inning. Tim Hudson goes 8 scoreless, 3 hits, he walked 4, struck out 3. O'Flaherty, good numbers. Well, if you ever want an example of the indifference about complete games, you're just looking at one. But take nothing away from Tim Hudson. He was absolutely terrific tonight.
3 hits. right in on the corner to this left-hand hitter.
Threw a bunch of pitches, 109, but he didn't throw many after the third inning. 2 Pirate base runners after the third, innings 4 through 8 against Tim Hudson. Unless somebody turns the tables and gets it going for the Pirates, Tim Hudson will improve to 5-1.
Always good to see Garrett Jones deliver in any situation, but especially against lefties. He's done good work against left-handed hitters this season. And against a guy who's been extremely tough against left-hand hitters, Eric O'Flaherty.
Nice to see him mixing those base hits. The ball doesn't always go over the fence. Don Long was making a point last night. He loves to see Garrett Jones get the base hits when he doesn't hit the ball over the fence, but he also doesn't want him to just concede against left-handers that that's all he's going to try for, because he's capable of turning that left-handed delivery around and hitting that kind of pitch over the fence. So yeah, it's good to get your base hits, mix those in, but don't give up that concept that you're capable of doing more damage. The person on the right there is happier than the person on the left. Atlanta Brave fan. Is she writing something on her phone there?
Probably. The lead man on the bouncer, by Church. Four to 6 on the putout. So the Pirates have been shut out 5 times this season. Braves 2 outs away from whitewashing the Bucks. This will be the Braves' first shutout. They have been blanked themselves 6 times, but they've never shut out an opponent to this point this season. Shortstop in, and Escobar throws out Doman. Steve Pearce will bat. Will pinch hit. Our next telecast Sunday on FSN. AGH Sports Medicine Pirates postgame highlights and analysis is coming up right after this one. Pierce going to at least try and break this shutout bid. Pierce 1 for 3 last night. Ripped a triple into the gap in left center field in the first inning that brought in a pair. He was 3 for 4 the opening game of the homestand.
Well, Greg, it's one of those games that probably won't require a great deal of complicated analysis. It's been pretty straightforward. It was Tim Hudson and not Ross Allendorf.
Yep. They pitched, they hit. Pirates didn't. Tim Hudson. Fine work. He's going to go to 5-1. And he really did cruise. That was just foul. Pirates fans hoping for a run. No, said Tim Cheetah. One ball, 2 strikes the count. By the way, John Hirschbeck is fine, the home plate umpire who was hit by a warm-up pitch last night and forced to leave early in the game. There's a 25-minute delay. And he was really taken out as a precautionary measure. The Pirates trainers insisting that he leave the game because that can be a dangerous thing, of course. We were told he was not with his crew tonight in Kansas City.
And what was it, Greg Zahn saying that it was a reflection that got...
I don't know what he was saying about that. Yeah.
He did say that. There was a reflection that he lost the ball in.
Yeah. In some building. I've not heard a catcher say that before.
But I've heard reference to the sun coming over the back of this ballpark, hitting some of those buildings, coming in and being a little bit of a factor in the batter's eyes. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It was odd.
I've never seen it.
Catcher completely missing a warm-up pitch.
I've seen pitchers throw balls at umpires when they're not looking because they're upset with them. The guy turns around to brush off the plate. I've seen that happen.
Oh, it's like some stuff from Leslie Nielsen. Naked Gun stuff.
Yep. Bull Durham. Major League. I see Charlie Sheen doing that.
3-2 the count on Pierce. And he walked him. Brings up Cedeno. Never giving up. Do a little rally dance in your seat. Rally cap. Ball one on Cedeno. And even though his club is up 7-0 with 2 outs in the ninth, Bobby Cox will take no chances. Tim Hudson's game to win. Bullpen will go to work just in case. Steve, I know managers can't stand walks anytime, especially with a big lead, but I can't imagine there's a manager alive that hates it worse than Bobby Cox in a situation like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
the ball game's been decided.
Yeah.
Let's just put a lid on it.
He just must be beside himself that he has to even call down to the bullpen.
Well, he's seen and read and heard about so much late inning stuff this year.
He has certainly been a part of it. 6 comeback wins, including 3 straight on their just completed homestand. Pirates fans believe.
And if the Pirates came back, these folks would be deserving to see it. They've hung around till the bitter end.
We talked yesterday about, we were talking to the TV crew over there, Chip Carey and Joe Simpson, about when you and I saw that 7 spot put up on the board in Atlanta in the 9th inning. It reminded us of that game in July of 2001 right here at PNC Park against the Houston Astros, where the Pirates rallied for 7 to beat Houston in the bottom of the 9th inning. Not tonight, as Cedeno swings and misses for the strikeout. And another W for Bobby Cox as the Atlanta Braves win the first of this 3-game series, shutting out the Pittsburgh Pirates by the final count of 7-0.
Yeah, and this one was really not in doubt. The Braves scored in the first inning. Hudson was just dynamite in spite of issuing 4 walks, and Ross Ollendorf struggled. And it was just one of those games that never changed. The theme never changed.
Tim Hudson gets the win. He is 5-1. Ollendorf falls to 0-2. Our next telecast of Pirates baseball Sunday afternoon, the homestand finale. Pirates host the Braves right here at PNC Park. Chris Medlin starts for Atlanta against Zach Duke. Coverage begins with the Trib Total Media Pirates pregame show at 1. Tim Neverett, Bob Walk bring you the call starting at 1:30 right here on FSN Pittsburgh, bringing the game to you. Final score 7-0 Braves. For Steve Blass and our entire FSN crew, Greg Brown saying thanks for watching. Stay tuned. The AG8 Sports Medicine Pirates pregame postgame is next.